Okay, this is my first time loading film into my new, this is a Fujica Professional GSW690. It's the version 1. I don't know when this was made, but probably in the 70s. This is a medium format camera. Looks like a giant 35mm camera. There's no batteries. This thing looks pretty darn new. I mean, I can't believe how good it looks. I've seen a lot of these for sale and they're all scratched up, beat up, rusted. This one looks practically unused. Pretty happy with it, pretty excited. It's also called a Texas Leica by a lot of people. But it's only had 3 photos taken out of it. 3, maybe 4. I'm not sure, it's between 3 and 4. I think that might be times 10 though, so it could be 30 photos. So yeah, it could be 30 photos. Maybe not 3, but anyway, this thing is practically brand new. Also, when I was looking for it, there wasn't any that had this little eyepiece cup. A lot of them were just plain missing. So yeah, pretty excited about that. So I'm going to load the film in it. This is my first time ever using medium format, ever using one without a light meter. I'm using this Kodak Portra 400. Seems like on most of the YouTube videos, people use this, seem to like this film the best. Let's see if I can't figure this out. You're supposed to advance it until this arrow goes right here. And then you shut the door. Okay. And advance it. You're going to watch this counter right here. Okay, looks like it's set on 1. So it's set for 8 exposures on 120 film. The 16 exposures is if you had 220 film, and the 4 exposures, I'm not exactly sure, but I think it was a different type of film. I think it was a 120, but it's a short roll maybe. Anyway, it's all loaded, ready to go. I'm going to use my light meter to actually meter the scenes, but I'm going to use my Fuji camera and put the settings in it, my Fuji mirrorless XT-4, and make sure I get the settings right there, and then I will take a picture with this camera because I just don't have any idea how to meter. I got to build some confidence in myself. Well, I'm going to take my first photo now. Got my light meter, which is a Sekonic L-308S, which I've never really used before. I'm just kind of now learning how to use it. So I'm going to meter the scene. I'm going to take a picture with my Fuji XT-4 here, which is a digital camera. That way I'll see if I got the settings right, and then I'll take a picture with the film camera. And if I do this a few times, I think I'll get some confidence in metering, and we'll make sure that I can actually get a good photo this way. So I'm just going to take a picture here in the backyard of the Big Hole Mountains back there. It's a real nice, beautiful day. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to set this camera down. Okay. So I put the ISO on 400 on the meter because the Fujifilm, the Portrait 400 is ISO 400. And so I'll make sure that I meter the exact same for the XT4 so that I can get as much to the right exposure as I can. And then when I finally develop the film, I think it'll be interesting to see how well the pictures match up, how well the film camera matches up with the digital. It'll be kind of an interesting experiment at the same time. So while I'm learning to use a light meter, I can also be learning how to use a film camera and then compare the results with a digital camera and just see how they do, see which one I like better. But I think it'll be fun using this film camera. I've never done that before. I mean, I've used a film camera when I was younger. I mean, that's all we had when I was younger, but to actually use it for photography, just to try to take good photos, I've not done that. Just mostly in the past, it's just been for snapshots of family and whatnot. So this will be a fun experiment and hopefully a learning experience. And so I'm going to meter this scene first. Okay, well, I took a couple of readings, and it first said F18 at 1250 seconds, 1/1250 of a second, but I'm gonna maybe go F14 at 1/2000th of a second and see how that turns out. Okay, so I got my ISO to 400, my speed to 1/2000th, my aperture to 14. It doesn't look too bad. It's kind of hard to tell in the bright sunlight. Almost looks a little dark. Okay. All right. Set this to the same. Except it doesn't go to 1/2000th of a second. So fortunately with this, we can change it. Looks like it goes as fast as 500. So to get the exposure the same, you have to go about F29. Or we could go F32 at 400. Let's try that. So F32 at 1/400th of a second. And that should equal my last exposure. Oh, it's not going to quite work. Let's go 1/500. So they say on this film to overexpose it a little if you have to, rather than underexpose it. So okay, so the best I can do is f/32 T400, or 1/400th of a second. This will go f/32 1/500th of a second, which would underexpose it. So then we should probably go, looks like the next increment is 1/250th of a second. And that will overexpose it, so that would probably be my best scenario. Okay, so I'm going to try that. Here goes nothing. Okay, advance it. Now we're set for shot number 2. So since I changed those settings on the Fuji, on the film camera, I went to f 1/250th at f when I say 28. So I'm going to do that on this camera now. That looked a little underexposed, but let's hope it works. Okay, at this point I'm going to end this video after taking just the one picture of the GSW690. In actuality, it's been about 3 weeks since I did that, almost 4 weeks, and I've since taken the entire roll of the Portra 400 film, and I have also taken one full roll of XT-4 100 120 film. And so just to recap it a little bit, what I did was I took my Sekonic light meter, and I put those readings into my XT-4, my Fuji XT-4, which is a mirrorless digital camera. I have it set on manual so that the internal meter of this camera could not do anything, could not take into account anything. And the reason for that is I wanted to use my light meter to gain confidence in it with a film camera. And so I put the meter readings into this camera, take the picture, and then just look at the back and make sure so that I had good exposure. And then after that, I would put the same readings in the GSW690, and okay, and then after that, I would put the readings in the GSW690. Now this is a medium format 6x9 camera, and so what I had to do was convert. This is a 65mm lens. And I had to look online, after all the fact, I looked online to see what the conversion factor was. Found a pretty good article, which I'll link below, that will actually tell you how to convert medium format film into full frame camera. So this converts, the 65mm converts to 28mm equivalent. The XT-4 has a 1.5 crop factor, and so I was just guessing at the time that between 17 and 20mm would be about right. I think it's somewhere around 18 maybe. But anyway, that's what I was trying to do with the XT-4. So with that, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to make a part 2 video of this where you actually see the rest of the roll of Portra 100 film, and then I'm going to do a full roll of Ektar 100 in the same technique. And hope you like it. I want to do a YouTube channel of some kind. I've been just doing some random things, but I do like to do photography quite a bit. I also like hiking and backpacking a lot, and fishing a lot, so I've just kind of been bouncing around with my channel, those subjects. And anyway, I hope somebody likes this video, and I hope it's useful to somebody, and I hope to do this again, and I guess we'll see you next time.